With all of the uncertainty going around with the pandemic and our children's education, we have decided to enroll our girls in an online public charter school, which is through K12.com. It's called Arizona Virtual Academy. Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. Welcome to my channel. So we basically have decided to homeschool our children again using an online school. With everything that happened with the pandemic, I kind of went back and forth between actually homeschooling, picking my own curriculum and doing all that, or doing an online school. Why did we choose to decide to school at home versus going back to the public school, and why we picked K12? So basically, if you're watching this, we are currently in a health pandemic. The schools and a lot of businesses were closed down in March of 2020. The public schools that my daughters were enrolled in, they did the best that they could with what they had to do remote learning, and it unfortunately was a complete disaster. I actually ended up unenrolling my children from the school when there was maybe a month or a month and a half left of the school year, and I just said we're gonna homeschool because it was complete chaos. It wasn't good. The governor has decided we started to reopen again, and we had a big spike, so he closed everything down again. He pushed the start date back for public school, and then he mentioned, because the government's basically saying you're not going to get funding if you don't open up. So now they're trying to figure out what are they going to do. And they said, okay, well, maybe we'll open up some, or maybe we'll give some schools the option to open up. They still don't know when they're going to open up, or they might go ahead and just start remote learning first again and then get ready to open up. So when the governor closed everything down again at the end of June, I talked with my husband and I said, you know what, I think we would be better off just enrolling them in an official online school. Now, I had spent maybe a week researching homeschooling stuff. I had planned on homeschooling my kids at the beginning. When I had my kids, I really wanted to be home with them, and I was homeschooling my oldest at the time. She was kindergarten, first grade, and then I ended up having some health issues where I couldn't devote the time and the attention that she needed, and so I enrolled her in a public school at that time. But she was excelling, straight A's, doing really well. We bought our house over where we're at now, and we moved, and so at that point, again, she was excelling, straight A's, made the principal list. So we just decided, okay, they're gonna do public school, and I enrolled my youngest at that point. She was in kindergarten this last school year, and she was doing okay. She doesn't like it as much, but they were getting the hang of it. And then everything closed down. And so I did think about just homeschooling again. So I looked up a lot of curriculum, but then I was like, we don't have the money. We don't have the money to purchase a curriculum. And one of the cons about an online school program that I have is actually now turning into the positive. And the con for me was that we would have a teacher and a schedule and someone we were accountable to, and we would have to have things in by a certain time. And at first that was standoffish to me. I kind of felt like, well, I'd rather go at my own speed and just do our own thing. But then I felt like that's actually a good thing, because it's going to make me do it. Because it's very easy to say, well, we're not going to do it today. We don't feel like doing it today, right? But this way I have someone to be accountable. So that's one of the reasons originally that I didn't want to do an online school that has now become a reason why I wanted to do it. So after I decided that homeschooling curriculum was going to be too hard, I decided, well, let's at least do an official online school. Someone that's been around, who knows what they're doing, that has the right resources, that has the right technology, that has it down. So I was looking up, there's probably like 3 or 4 here in Arizona. There was Primavera, which when I was growing up, I remember Primavera High School. Now they've expanded to a full K-12. And then there was another one, Arizona Connections Academy or something like that. So I started just Googling them and YouTubing them, and K12 was the only one out there that really had a lot of videos, mostly unboxing videos, but I liked that they provide all of the material. And so we get, because it's considered a public charter school, they get the funding, they get the public school funding. So they send you all of the curriculum. You get the teacher's guides, you get the workbooks for the kids, you get the literature books, you get loaner laptops and printer. You get science experiment stuff, you get art supplies, you get a little bit of things for music, so you get all of that stuff at no cost to you. You do have to mail back a good portion of it when you're done, like at the end of the school year or whenever you withdraw. Basically though, like the workbooks, the kids are going to be using those, and so I've organized those. I'm going to share another video on how I organized everything. But I've organized all of that stuff by week, so it's really, you know, it's going to be a lot more organized than when we were trying to do the remote learning. When we were trying to do remote learning with the teachers, or when we were trying to do it with the public school, we didn't have like the lesson plan or the teacher guide or the answer keys or anything like that. We just had a thick packet, and they were like, okay, do this. And you had a session with the teacher, the kids had a session with the teacher online through like Google Meets or something like that at 9 o'clock every morning, but it wasn't like a teaching lesson. It was just like, oh, hi, we're all here, okay, you're good. Maybe she'd read a story here or there, but it really wasn't like a lesson on what was going on. So I was finding myself having to Google what some of the stuff was just so I could help my daughter with her stuff. So that was just a disaster. So with the K12, you get the teacher guide. They also do some online sessions, so they do the they call them class connect sessions, so they will do online sessions with the teacher, but they are going to actually be lesson sessions. So there will be like a whiteboard type thing, and the child will be able to participate with their mouse, writing on the whiteboard and interacting with the teacher and the students. I don't know for sure the schedule of that. We actually have our we have our orientation later today. It's July 27th. So I will have more information on that. But basically that's kind of the main reasons I wanted to do it. One was because there's so much uncertainty and we don't know what's going on. Even if the school opens up in 2 weeks, I don't feel it's going to be safe or comfortable. You know, if they're talking about them wearing masks all the time and trying to social distance, kids don't understand the social distancing. It's going to be hard. So there's a lot of debate back and forth about it. But for us, I think it's right for our family. So we're going to go ahead and have them do this. So that's, again, the uncertainty of it. We've decided to go ahead and we're going to commit through December. That way, there's no worry and stress of every week being like, oh, is this going to change? Is that going to change? Are we going to go back? Are we not going to go back? So the kids know, like, hey, we are doing this through December. After winter break, we'll reassess. And if the kids are really enjoying it and things are going good, then we'll keep doing it. Or if stuff is still bad out there, we'll keep doing it. But if everything's good out there and the kids want to go back to public school, then we'll go back to public school. Now K12, again, another reason, like I mentioned, is because they give you all of the stuff. So I feel like I'm more prepared to help my child in doing this remote learning or online learning versus with the public school. The other thing to consider is that I'm calling this homeschooling because you as the parent are going to have to be involved basically with your child during their whole day. Now my first grader, they mentioned they're going to spend about 4 hours, they should be spending about 4 hours a day on their schoolwork, and my fourth grader should spend about 5 hours a day. So I already know that I'm going to have to spend, you know, anywhere from 4 to 5 hours a day helping my children with their work. So I'm going into this with the mindset of I'm homeschooling. So this isn't going to work for someone who you don't have the time or the desire to do that. But it is a great option if you guys have no choice and you want to have more support and more resources sent to you at no cost. That's pretty much why we decided to do it. Some of the expectations you kind of have to set expectations up for yourself, but I went ahead and I read through everything and I watched every video and everything on their website so I would have the proper expectations. And we have all the supplies now, so I've been able to look through the lessons and see. So a lot of lessons start online. They'll either have a connect session with their teacher, or it will be some online learning that they learn the lesson, and then they'll do some time where they're working offline. So either in a workbook, or maybe they're doing their science experiment, maybe they're doing their art stuff, maybe they're writing, doing a writing assignment or something like that, practicing, maybe they're reading a book, and then coming back. So it has on there the lesson plans and how much time you need for it. So again, I've made that time commitment saying, okay, I know we're going to do this. Now, what we've also decided is what our schedule is going to do. So how am I going to try to work with my children? So we're gonna start at 7 in the morning versus the schools normally start at 8 in the morning. We are up early, we're early risers, so we just decided let's start at 7. We're already up. We don't have to take the time to make lunches and do all of these things before we leave the house. We can just kind of get up and get to it. So we're gonna try to spend maybe 2 hours, maybe 1 to 2 hours, depending on how they're doing, focused on school, and then I'm gonna give them an hour break to do whatever. Here in Arizona right now, it's really hot during the day, so we can't really go outside too much unless we're actually going to the lake or something. But once it starts to cool off, we can definitely go outside and ride bikes and do stuff. Then we'll come back, have like lunch, and then work for another hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, and have smaller breaks in between. So we're gonna commit to doing that. But either way, I know, okay, we're gonna start at 7 and then we'll be done by like 1 in the afternoon. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're also gonna maybe try to get most of the work done Monday through Thursday and then have Friday be a catch-up day, because when they went to public school, Mondays they had a shorter day. So we still want to have that where they have a shorter day, but we're going to use it as Friday. So we're going to try to get through all the work as fast as we can and then have Friday as more of a catch-up day or a free day, depending on how they're doing it. So that's obviously an expectation. Is it going to work that way? I don't know. We'll have to find out. The other thing is just being open to communicating with the teacher and with the school. So if we feel that we're getting behind on assignments, then we can reach out and say, hey, what do you recommend that we do? So again, we have our orientation later today. So I'm gonna share with you guys some stuff along the way. Like I said, I'm just going into it with the mindset of like, we're homeschooling. If you guys have children, I would love to hear from you in the comments below, whether you are deciding to, you're just waiting till the school opens and then they're going to go to school, or whether they're starting school but it's going to start remotely and you decided to do that, whether you decided to homeschool with your own curriculum and your own schedule, or whether you decided to do with an actual online school. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any particular questions, leave them down below and I can make a separate Q&A video specific about K12 or Arizona Virtual Academy and let you know more about it. I will probably give you update videos anyways. I am going to show the unboxing of all the stuff that we got free from the school. I'm also going to show you how I organized everything, and then I'll show you a few kind of day in the life videos of how it's going. So hopefully this information helps you in deciding what to do moving forward in this health pandemic for your household and for your child's education. I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.